Bitcoin staying strong. Let's come over to the big board and take a look at what we have on Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's discuss these topics and more.
Bitcoin, we know it's broken out. Technically speaking, and if you know the confirmation signal, I could ask you this and quiz you on it, but this is not confirmed yet. Now, I still think it probably confirms. As long as the stock market, let's say the S&P does inch up above 6,000, then you got to figure this is going to go a little bit higher. On a short-term basis, I have a level around 80,000 that I think this could go to before you see a solid pullback. Where would that solid pullback come, though? Think about this. So you guys know, and again, I teach a little bit of this, but most of it and the deep dive is in the Winning Trader series, which I hope everyone eventually takes. But the point being is, once you confirm above your all-time high at 74,000 and you go to 80, so let's say we go up here to 80K, right? Where would your pullback be? Quiz question. All right, where would your pullback be expected? Like, what would your downside first support be if you get to 80,000 and it starts to pull back? And I hope a lot of you guys are saying it would be a retrace to the scene of the crime back to 74, right? So price, let's say it goes here and then finally pulls back. Where would support be? The former resistance, once it's confirmed above, becomes technical support. That's a standard technical analysis using what I call the scene of the crime retrace. The scene of the crime means the breakout, right? We talk about like a jailbreak. So a jail breaks here, they come back to the jail, and then it continues potentially on. So we'll watch that. Just a reminder, as always, the Bitcoin chart is very dependent on the stock market. As long as the stock market keeps going up, you have to assume Bitcoin will. All right. So that's a good chart to take a look at right there and just kind of keep your wits about you on that one. We'll go quickly to gold here and see what gold has in store for us. If we look at this chart on gold, gold is having a very minor pullback. Again, right here was technical support, the midpoint of the channel. Upside resistance would be this line still, which would be a little bit higher than it was before since it's upsloping. And then if it breaks the dotted line, where's your target? Boom, right to the downside right there. I still have half my short on gold. I already pocketed half the profits right here. The other half I would pocket probably right into this level. Just using the levels to guide me, right? It's not, this is the beauty of technical analysis, guys, is that it really, once you start to learn it and then you start to see it in action and then you see how high a probability it makes you as an investor and trader, it takes away the emotion. All of a sudden it's like, well, it's hitting support, and therefore I do this. Oh, it's hitting resistance, therefore I doing this. Oh, it's a bull flag with a time count. Oh, it's a retrace to the scene of the crime. Versus most investors, they get into a position because it's their hope, it's their dream, they got hyped up by social media influencing them or the mainstream media. But when you go to technical analysis, it takes that away. It's almost very freeing. You won't be right all the time. I certainly am not. But at least I know that I'm basing my decisions on probability, not on hopes and dreams. Hopes and dreams don't get us very far in life in general. You got to do the hard work. You got to analyze. You got to go with probability. All right, back to the charts real quick. Silver here, taking a look at this. Silver is down just slightly. It did bounce right off of this. My question on silver could it be making a head and shoulders? So if we just look at this and we bring up our head and shoulders pattern draw here, you can see it's very early on. But if we were to kind of go like this, it could put in a head and shoulders pattern. That's a bearish pattern for those of you at home that may not know what head and shoulders patterns are. They're bearish. And then the beauty of it is you can actually do a measured move. You take the high down to the neckline here, and you map that from the break point and gives you your downside target. As I've said before, I would start nibbling around 29 on silver on a long. But if it doesn't get there, like I always say, no big deal, because there's always another trade coming around the corner.
Bitcoin's recent rally near $80,000 sparks debate, with analysts warning of a possible sharp correction, even as price discovery continues. Bitcoin breaks out from its reaccumulation phase, signaling a possible parabolic growth cycle. Analysts predict BTC could reach $84,000 by December 2024, fueled by institutional demand and a shrinking exchange supply. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki reveals his Bitcoin holdings and shares his approach to wealth building. Kiyosaki advocates investing in real money assets like Bitcoin, gold, and silver, regardless of market price.
The S&P 500, basically in the overnight kind of sideways-ish. This morning at 4 in the morning, we had a little bit of a drop, and then we floated back up. All in all, the markets are around the flat line. Now, if you think about this, we had the elections, we had the Fed. Today, to me at least, would be what we call a hangover day. It's like after you've gone out and partied too much. In other words, too much has gone on. You just need a little bit of a breather. So for today, generally you'd expect a small up day, a small down day. I'm favoring a small down day because of a chart I'm going to show you in just 1 second, but I wouldn't expect a big move unless some breaking news happens, right? Other than that, you're looking at a smaller move in the markets, maybe a 0.5%, give or take, by the end of the day. Now, next week, we'll see what happens. That's going to be the big kicker. What do we see? Do we see continuation to the upside or not? Now, let's look at the daily chart of the S&P. So we knew we had this wedge pattern. We broke down from the wedge pattern. We never quite got to the level I was thinking. It was just below here, but then the elections hit. We had the monster rally, and look at where we ended yesterday, right back into what I call the scene of the crime. And this is actually why I favor a small down day today. And again, I don't think it's going to be a big down day, but just a small one, because you did run into significant resistance right here on the S&P. So again, you have to say, okay, until proven otherwise, resistance is resistance and support is support. Just like when we were coming down to this level, I said you had to expect a rally off that, because until support is confirmed below and broken, it favors the upside. It's support. It's supposed to support price, right? And that's the basics of technical analysis. So we'll look at that on the S&P. We'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback. But one thing just to keep in mind, the NASDAQ still shows that it's not quite at a resistance level just yet. So if we look at the NASDAQ chart here, this is the NASDAQ 100, the QQQ. Notice how we're really close to that little level right there. If I zoom out on this line, it goes back to the bull market high of 2021. You connect it through the July high just before the August collapse, that high, and then look at how close we are. So in terms of whether or not we get a little upside or downside, this may tell us that there's still a little bit of upside left in tech, whether it's today or Monday, I don't know, but you would expect to at least touch this level right here on the charts. Now, let's go to the S&P 500. This is a line that I have to say concerns me.
The Withanage Foundation is launching a research and development program and $500 million investment vehicle to support AI development in African agriculture, finance, and governance. As Bryceus expands its influence, Trump's 2025 return to the White House is unlikely to disrupt the bloc's economic momentum, with leaders focused on deepening global partnerships. A Moody's digital assets expert outlines how a Trump administration and pro-crypto Congress could reshape U.S. crypto regulation, hinting at major industry impacts. Ripple and XRP could face a turning point as new pro-crypto regulatory shifts promise renewed hope and potential resolution to years-long legal battles. Economist Peter Schiff has warned against the Trump boom optimism, calling out hidden economic risks and broken promises he sees on the horizon. The American Securities Association is urging SEC Chair Gary Gensler to resign immediately, citing Trump's election win as a mandate for a new direction focused on investor trust and economic growth. With Donald Trump now set to become the 47th U.S. president, Ross Ulbricht's family took to social media on November 7 to share a long-awaited update. Ross will be coming home in January. Throughout the 2024 election, Trump pledged to grant Ulbricht's sentence commutation, promising his release on day one. A report indicates that post-U.S. elections, traders are favoring leveraged long positions in perpetuals and futures contracts. Jen Nieuwenhuids, an expert in gold markets, believes he has found evidence that Europe is preparing to adopt a new standard. He states that the recent movements of several Eastern European countries, purchasing or selling gold to reach a determined ratio, are part of the actions leading up to this development. This op-ed explores if there is a way out of the centralization cycle for wrapped Bitcoin. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.